I am a student of the generations. There are four of them in the workplace now. Four generations with such totally different upbringings and viewpoints and life experiences that some days we might as well all be from different planets. It is a never ending source of fascination and interest to me, and as a point of shameless self promotion, I can spend hours educating you on the subject. The events of the first half of 2020 have given me a unique opportunity to explore how the different generations are dealing with the issues that life is throwing our way. In April and much of May, I was finding much fascination in how COVID-19 is affecting the different age groups. Not their health, but the way they choose to handle it on an intellectual and humanitarian level. And then a 46-year-old African American male died in the streets of a suburb called Powderhorn, Minnesota. Enter Generation Z. As of this year, they are 5 to 25 years old. They've been exposed to and experienced things never before seen by previous generations due to one large yet common difference: social media. They are young. They need people. They need to be heard in real time and face to face, not just using their mad typing skills. We locked them up. We took them out of school. We told them it was for their own good and they could not see their friends or compete in sports or go to their graduations or get jobs. Whether they believed it or not, whether it was true or not, at some level they got gypped. And they got scared because they were missing out on that great big wonderful thing that we call life. The powder keg blew. The average age of the protesters across the country is 23 to 25 years old. Most of them are in their 20s and 30s. These are not the anarchists who are damaging our cities, but those who are peacefully protesting the inhumane treatment of our African American citizens and so many other things that they may not even realize until you take the time to have a conversation with them. My husband and I went to a local rally and took time to speak with some of the respectful, masked, young protesters. We learned that, like all generations, they feel the ones before have messed things up. But even though they may not be fond of the boomers and Generation X, they love their grandparents dearly. And that's why they continue to wear those masks. They are angry that their parents have lost their jobs that they've held for decades and the repercussions of those losses. They are fearful that their parents will not recover mentally and emotionally from the changes in their lives. The group we spoke to was curious about a different group who gathered a distance away from them. They wanted to know if they were peaceful, if they were praying, and why they had separated themselves from them, because wasn't the whole point that segregation and separatism was wrong? They were afraid that the same thing that happened to George Floyd could happen to them. Because they were young, because they were different, because they were protesting, well, just because. And having grown up in a world where they had friends with all sorts of different skin colors, they were afraid that it could happen to someone they loved. Decades ago, young protesters managed to end a war, advance civil rights legislation, and launch a second wave of women's rights and the gay rights movement. These young people do not like it at all when they hear us say this is just like 1968. This is 2020. We should not still be fighting to right an injustice that began in the year 1619 and was supposed to have ended in 1865. We only seem to keep adding fear upon fear upon fear with each new generation. As we keep asking our newest generation to talk to us about how they feel, perhaps they will finally be the ones to do something about it. Let us give them grace and assist them with obtaining the education and knowledge to do so. And there you have it, short and sweet. My name is the Reverend Kathy Crosby. Thank you for taking the time today to listen.